Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 27th, day before Thanksgiving. We got some news coming out today. We got GDP, personal income, a couple of big numbers. So maybe this week finally gives us some action. Let's see what happened overnight. Oh, by the way, I forgot. You know what? I always get things mixed up. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. Hit the bell icon because it's a lot easier to find our stream when we're live. It'll give you notifications. Also, be sure to hit that like button and like us on all your favorite social media. We got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You take your pick. We got LinkedIn now, so go and check that one out. I made that yesterday. So, to the charts. Well, the treasuries are pretty much where they were. We've kind of had like a slow bubble up, but there was some really big absorption up above us yesterday. Those sellers, they just ate it all up. I mean, it was big buy-in too. But you know, that we kind of got the roll going on. Today is like the last day to roll over. I would recommend you switch everything over now. I've already done so. And in the E-mini, you know, they just continue to go up. We had this spike up, and then, you know, they failed to make a new high, and I thought that would maybe be significant, but these guys just don't care. You know, this reminds me a lot of 2007. You remember 2007, like right after Donald Trump got elected, and it would just go up every single effing day. Nothing could stop it. And there'd be no reason for it to go up. It would just go up. And this is kind of looking like the similar thing. Now, the problem with that is that you set yourself up for a blow off top when you start doing that sort of a thing. And there's still trade risk concerns out there. Both sides, the Chinese and the US, have been injecting optimism into trade talks. But I am still skeptical that they can actually come together and make an agreement. There just seems to be too many fundamental gaps there, and they may just kind of be playing it up for politics and temporary position. I don't know. I think that whereas before there was maybe an 80% chance that a deal wasn't going to happen, maybe now there's a 60% chance that it doesn't happen. But I could be totally wrong. So, anyways, today we've got a couple of big numbers. Let me just go through them here. Oh, and while I'm at it, I need to start this up. All right. So we got a couple of big numbers, and I'll just read through them here really quick. We have, now let me refresh it so that we can see more clearly what we got. Okay, so at the bottom of the hour, we got core durable goods month over month looking for a reading of spot 2%. Durable goods month over month, negative spot 5%. And just remember, the difference between core and the normal one is that it excludes transportation items. Core excludes transportation items, all right? Then we got preliminary GDP quarter over quarter, 1.9%. GDP price index, 1.7%. Unemployment claims is happening on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday because Thursday is Thanksgiving. That's 223,000. Then at 7:45, we got Chicago PMI. We're looking for a reading of 47.2. Remember that this is the one that opens early, 3 minutes before the news. So at 7:42, the news is released early to subscribers. Then we get the numbers that are really important to us in the treasuries. Core PCE price index at spot 2. Personal spending at spot 3. Pending home sales expected spot 2. Personal income month over month expecting spot 3. If any of those numbers are out of line, we could probably see a decent move in the treasuries. Well, it looks like I have broken my robot. We got 10 minutes to fix it. How are you guys doing, by the way? Uzi? Itsy bitsy teeny weeny overnight ranges. Yeah, it's not, well, we got some news. But it's interesting that the E-mini moved up so much and that the treasuries didn't go. You know what I mean? By the way, Ed here is asking me a question about rolling over that doesn't make sense. If I use auto rolling to next period with US Treasury futures at each roll, I will take the profit or loss of price changes during the period. But what about the interest? Is it paid or priced in? That was a bit of a aggressive push down there, by the way, at 21. But until we get the news, I think that we should just kind of let it do its thing. By the way, right now, because it's a little light when we first get started. It takes people to come in and everything like that. We got oh well, now we've got 7 viewers. I say that and then everybody clicks in and joins in, but I was like, we have like 3 viewers and 3 likes. Isn't that awesome? Well, guess what? If you just came in, hit that like button. Now I broke the robot, guys. I tried to add a new feature and it is telling me that it didn't like it. Why does it not like the split? Bar commands equals data dot message dot split. It should work. It is, yeah, it's 86. This is the stuff that I add in. Receive message. It should be way down here, right? Or am I getting that wrong? Oh, I want that. I need to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Okay. Var commands equals data dot message dot split. And it says cannot read property split of undefined because data dot message does not exist. Oh. Data dot snippet dot display message. Dot split. Save. It worked before you broke it. I totally broke it. I totally broke it. Okay, so let's test it. I added a new command. Clip test. And it broke. No such file or directory. Oh, it can't. It back end. Undefined. What? Oh, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Directory plus new date. Why is that undefined? New date to locale date string. Oh, I know why that's undefined. Clip directory. Okay. Try it again. Nope. But now that's completely wrong too. Should go to C users set documents clips. Users set documents clips. Oh, yes, that would maybe be necessary. Okay. Okay. Hmm. That's not going to work, is it? JavaScript. Get date. Year dash month slash YYMMDD. Let's try this format here. Well, they're pushing lower, guys. We got a little bit of risk on going in here. Oh, by the way, we should turn this on here. So that did work, but it doesn't create the file for us. Really? Really? Well, maybe it can if we just create the directory. Maybe it just wants the directory. Documents. And then we could say new clips. Is that how I'm doing it, right? Clips. Okay, try that. Space. Like, I think it might create the file, but it probably just doesn't want to create the folder. Probably just doesn't want to create the... Okay, it said that there was still an error writing the clip. Oh, but look, it made one. Hey, it totally wrote it. Okay. It works. I don't know why it... if error, console.log plus error. Get my water over here. We got 1 minute now, so glad we got that. It says there was no error. Oh, if error, throw error, but then it logs the thing. So I misunderstood that bit of code. So everything works. We're good. 30 seconds here. So what that command is every time that you do exclamation point clip, and then you can leave a little message there, it will write into a file with a timestamp so that we can get an idea of, maybe we want to go and make summary videos. We kind of know the spots to go back and look at. So if you see something funny or cool that you think would be worthy of a clip, use that command and we can pull it out, right? So here we go. Here's the news. A little bit of movement. A little bit. I'm not seeing anything on Twitter yet. October preliminary durable goods orders good. Spot 6 versus spot 9. Durable goods spot 6 versus an expected negative spot 5. GDP very good. 2 spot 1 versus an expected 1 spot 9. I don't know if that's very good. Preliminary GDP price index 1.8 versus 1.7, and unemployment claims still haven't gotten it yet. Oh, here it is, 213 versus 223. So all of the numbers are good. Well. There's a little bit of iceberging there at 17. I'm not so sure that I can take that one. There, I do see trending action though at the moment. Okay, there was a backtick. The numbers were almost all positive, guys. Well, that could maybe take us to the bottom of the week's range. I don't have the balls though to just sell it at 16. Nice big pull. Yeah. Oh, we should add the auto read here.
Uzi Knesset says, wow, nice big pull.
Well, let's pull this up a little bit. I need to fix something else. Oh no, I did fix that. Never mind. Should all be good. So I'm a little concerned because I don't actually see the big guys getting involved. Could run. Well, I don't know if I'm not seeing a spot. You know what? I didn't eat my toaster pastries. I should eat my toaster pastries. Okay, big snack at 15.5. That seems like a really odd spot to stack. And the market's doesn't seem to believe it, isn't reacting to it. Although 940 have hit it and it hasn't pulled. I don't trust that. I'm just gonna sit that out because that's
Mason
super
Chan
fishy.
says, morning, Seth.
Hey Mason, how are you? Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. They gonna buy through it or what? That is really suspicious. That is, I don't know why you would do that. Like maybe you stick one up right after the news and everything, but right here at 15.5 doesn't really make sense to me. Doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, well, he was for real. They big collision there. Bid is stacking up now too though. Trying to push it a little further. That's interesting.
Uzi Knesset says, did you roll over your treasuries?
Yes, it did. I am on ZNH20. You can see my numbers down here and my numbers up here are not in line. Oh, you know what? Can I do the rollover thing over here now? I come tools, database management. No? Well, that's dumb. Let's fix that. Mm.
Uzi Knesset says KK I was gonna say, your numbers be completely different than mine lol. You had that big 5k on the inside offer and I'm over here like, where is it, lol.
So are you still on December? I think you'd want to be on March now at this point.
Janice JJJ says face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy.
Now
Uzi
my
Knesset says yeah.
ZB here, that's not right. The data that I'm getting
Janice
is wrong.
JJJ says what's with the funny female voice reading out?
Well, Janice, we have a small enough community and everybody is just so awesome. And I like to be able to focus on the action instead of reading all the messages, so I created a robot assistant that reads them out for me. And I can, of course, turn it off at will, so if people try and abuse it and so forth, I can turn it off and then read individual messages. I don't, man, what is this? What is this? Okay, so the 5 year one seems correct, but the 30-year one that is wrong. That is so not. We are not at 159.05. I don't know where it's getting that from.
Janice JJJ says OOKY.
Oh, maybe I am. Maybe this one didn't get moved over. ZB March. Okay. Better. ZBH, ZFH. Okay. Now I'm fixed. Man, so the 30-year really got creamed there, huh? Now, why does it tell me that they touched 12.5 on this one? Well, my data is all screwed up, folks. It says that they touched 12.5 on this chart, and I'm pretty sure they did not. That must have just been me rolling when I decided to roll it over. 03-20. Oops, that's not a real instrument. 02, 03. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, I probably should have sold through some of that, but you know, it's I don't really like going into the news move, and if it doesn't give you a signal, it doesn't give you a signal. Right here at 14, though, a little bit of distribution. Whole action is pretty interesting, though. The Treasury has definitely liked what happened. All right. Well, I hate it when I don't know why, but I haven't been finishing my breakfast before I have to stream for some reason. So I apologize eating in front of you guys. But now we're focused. There's a big iceberg at 14. So there was the big order at 15.5. They gobbled it up. Now at 14, 7K is about equal to what they did at 15.5. So a little bit of distribution here potentially. New orders for manufactured durable goods in the United States stood at 248.7 billion in October, rising 0.6 from the last month's revised figure of 247.3 billion. They just want to sell it. So selling, when it's hard for me when they're selling too, because they act a little differently when they sell. Like when they sell, it's often like they wait, nothing happens, and then finally somebody gives up and it drops.
Uzi Knesset says 59.23 is downside target for ZB grinning face with big eyes.
That's on the December contract. So they've still got about 3 ticks.
Uzi Knesset says yeah.
Okay, well, I can see a little bit of a stack at 15 here. That just show. Actually, that's been since
Uzi Knesset says sorry, I don't usually roll until the NT thingy says to.
Yeah. Well, did you hear yesterday? Lucas's broker was like telling him that you've got to roll over. That the FCM.
Algo Lover says Seth, have a great holiday.
Hey, Algo Lover, thank you. I haven't seen you like all week. I was wondering where you were off. I saw you. You know what? I've been spying on other places, and I saw you. I was like, oh, he really does get around. I mean, he told us, so I don't feel betrayed or anything, but he really does get around. Man, it's so hard to watch this because I want to get involved, but it's not giving me a spot to do it. All the pundit says Warren's pulling slowly headed towards Kamalaville. I don't know about that. It's interesting that she has fallen so quickly, though, isn't it? I tell you what, the Democrats, voters, change their mind very quickly about things, don't they?
Uzi Knesset says I didn't get an email or anything about rolling over contracts. I just got the typical holiday hours email from Ninja. Algo Lover says working hard on this side of screen face with tears of joy.
Oh, good job. You make some money this week? You've been buying the E-mini? I haven't been able to catch anything good this week so far. Pretty much just, I think I'm down 1 for the week. Plus commissions. I would sure like to participate in this sell, though. You have to wonder, though, what is the what are the personal income numbers going to be at 10 o'clock? This could get really interesting, right? Okay, so they did finally tick up. They're coming up to this big order at 15. No, nobody wants to trade that. still not enough for me to want to jump in on anything. I told it to do not merge, and it still tried to merge my chart. That's dumb. Oh well. I can still see the volume profile over here. Lots in the December contract at 12 in the 10-year. Lot traded there. So we're definitely in some sort of a distribution area. Economy grew to spot 1 as Fed was cutting rates. Alligator says can't too heavy. It sucks. I mean, we could totally have gotten involved in that, right? It's just you would have had to chase. And when we're chasing, there's some real dangers with chasing, right? Fed launched an easing cycle in a quarter in which GDP rose to about 1%. What will it do when the US is in a recession? Well, zero hedge. Here's the issue with that logic is, they eased, but they eased because they made a policy mistake. And, a recession could just happen out of the blue. So, you know what? If everything is fine and, the next 2 quarters of next year are good, and we start to see actual inflation, which hasn't happened in a long time, then they'll probably raise rates again. But that's the big thing I think that we need to accept. This is the big change.
Gary Rich says, did you see USD, yen and S almost trade in tandem?
Oh, really? Oh, it doesn't look to me like the ES has moved a whole lot. The JPY, though, certainly has come down with the treasuries here. Anyways, I think that we kind of have a new paradigm. It's not necessarily a new paradigm, but you just got to remember that the interest rates in the economy are not a direct one-to-one relationship, right? We can keep interest rates low and even have to cut interest rates if we're seeing deflation. And if markets like that and it pushes them higher, that's fine. As long as it doesn't lead to some sort of a feedback cycle that creates excessive inflation and forces the Federal Reserve to quickly raise rates. Quickly lower rates. Or no. I'm all confusing myself. If we get inflation, they would have to raise rates. I just, it's highly unlikely for it to happen, but
Gary Rich says, look back to the European session into NY session. For days they seem to follow each other.
Well, that's been true, but they haven't really moved a whole lot for days either. Like, we're getting volume and stuff, but that might be deceptive because people are rolling over. Well, they were able to eat through the big offer that was at 15. The question still is, what is the personal income number going to be? Because last time around, it was not so hot. I think we had one where it was really bad, and then we had one where it didn't really do much of anything at all. And remember when it was like really bad, or rather really low, the market just kind of shrugged it off. Well, iceberg at 15. And a little bit of indication that they want to hold 15. Overnight repo raises to 800.
Gary Rich says I'm sorry but it's a pattern that doesn't break down. Why? Yen is a carry trade or funding FX pair, always been that way for decades. I'm a former FX trader.
What? That the yen and the treasuries tend to move in tandem? Sure, but they didn't really move very far, so I'm not sure I understand how that helps us right now. Unless you're saying, well, we had a move there and the JPY.
Gary Rich says no Amini.
Oh, in the E-mini? You know, like an inverted trade? So JPY has gone down. Buy. Okay, that was a big buy. Wow. 37, 34 at 13.
Gary Rich says Amini up, treasury down.
Yeah. Well, that one doesn't necessarily make sense to me either, Gary, because overnight, the treasuries were essentially flat, and the E-mini was up a good clip. That was an interesting buy. This is kind of a hard order flow to read because there's stuff going on in both contracts. I wonder if that market buy in December might have been somebody exiting. Here at 15, you know. Sure is clicking a lot as they move, though. I guess you could say the E-mini moved up. That means the treasuries have to move down. But, you know, news. I think it was kind of like the E-mini traders are very much more engaged in trying to speculate on the trade war, whereas I think the treasury traders are kind of sick of it. Plus, I'm not so sure that it really matters to the treasuries anymore. Well, I'm not so sure about that one. That might have been a sell, but it didn't, you know, it's not actually showing me any signs of it. See, the 5-year definitely did something though. So some iceberging up here to keep it still. Definitely slowing down as it's gotten up here, so we might get a sell, but just not an indication that any one individual price is going to be stubborn that we can take it. Now that might be what we're looking for. Unlikely to get filled at 16 now, I think. Okay. So when they went offer, they didn't put a lot of contracts on there. And now that they've gone bid, there's a lot.
Air
again.
Cages says hello sir, why the long face?
I'm just a little nervous, that's all. So yeah, I just took a short and it was a pretty toxic fill. Like now they've stacked 24 on me. There was a really good iceberg at 16. They weren't able to get through it. Now there's 3,000 on top of it. So it may go, but I don't like a stack like that. Every time you come in, Air Cages, I'm like, oh, what about Bitcoin? I haven't looked at it. Well, I looked at it this morning. I saw that there was a bounce. It wasn't as significant as I thought it was, though. That kind of looked to me like they were trying to create the technical indications of, higher low and higher highs and stuff. Man, now the 15.5 is really starting to stack. The E-mini, by the way, retracing back to where they were before the news.
Mason Chan says, what did you see to make you go short?
So, Mason, when they hit into 16, there was some iceberging there, and I saw in the 5-year an indication that they had overextended. So I took it, but man, like I would have liked to have gotten short there on when they hit into that iceberg at 16. That would have been
Ace
a much
Trade
better
says
spot,
morning.
right? Now we're at, then 15.5 went offer. There wasn't a whole lot on offer, but I thought it was worth taking it. And we got filled, and then they stacked really hard on top of us. So
Ace Trade says trying to get short 3,146.00.
Trying to get short, huh? So, yeah, at the moment, this doesn't look like a great trade, does it? Like, we might have to, well, there you go.
Mason
It's
Chan
already
says
gone.
I am long at 155.
See, we just need to bell. Because this is stacking pretty aggressively at 16. That's interesting that you got long at 15.5. I'm a little suspicious.
Gary Rich says it ace same here.
I'm a little suspicious about the stacking here. I'm also a little like, why is the E-mini showing signs of weakness? That doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know.
Ace Trade says only because I just got in, missed the signal earlier, FOMO.
Okay. It's just this stacking in the tenure is seems overdone. Seems like they could be squeezing it and that they'll flip it.
Ace Trade says was late getting to my office, all this weather. Lol.
Oh yeah. Wait, I thought you traded
Air
at home.
Cages says what are your thoughts on the whole who's the real Bitcoin debate? Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin Core?
Well, I think at this point, they've been separated for so long, and Bitcoin Cash has made so many changes to the protocol that nobody can really claim to be
Ace
like
Trade
the
says
real
Seth, I do,
Bitcoin, you
that
know?
was what was funny.
Oh, okay. I was like, you don't travel. Man, I wonder, I haven't looked outside yet. I wonder if I'm going to have to stay home today. Some people were saying just stay home. So I got long at 15.5, right? We need to fix these. I don't know why it's always like this. It's so
Uzi Knesset
retarded.
says y'all got snow up there.
Yeah. Well, it snowed quite a bit
Ace Trade says yes,
yesterday.
just stay home and make some pies.
Okay. This whole, I don't know why this is so messed up, but all right.
Air
So I
Cages
did.
says you like Bitcoin Cash more?
I certainly think that, in terms of a fundamental
Ace
perspective, that
Trade
I like
says at
Bitcoin
UZI
Cash more.
Knesset just a skiff, but it's now really windy, probably lots of slide off on the freeway.
Because I still have this inkling that they're squeezing it up and that they're going to flip it again. I mean, the more transactions that you have on the chain, the better. That means more people to buy. So Bitcoin Cash has become a much more effective um, transaction mechanism. Bitcoin Core is like practically useless at this point for that sort of a thing, and so I do very much prefer Bitcoin Cash in that respect. But there's this problem that there's these guys in Bitcoin that have a lot of power that have used it to really trash Bitcoin Cash. And so if Bitcoin were to ever lose its luster, you might still have a hard time getting people to admit that they were wrong and move over to Bitcoin Cash, you know? See, they're still iceberging there at 16.5. Yeah, look at that. Of course, it didn't. Of course, it was not fast enough for me to hit. Okay.
Air Cages says Bitcoin SV?
Oh, Bitcoin SV is such a scam. That I watched that whole thing, and at first I was like, "Why is there even a thing going on? Like, there should be no reason for there to be an argument. Like, they should just have an agreement and then do a thing." But it started to become clear to me that this what was the fake Satoshi guy's name? That he just wanted to screw with people. Like, he thinks he's smart and that he's a great trader, and he thought that he could make a ton of money off of it. He's not as smart as he thinks he is. I mean, it was a dismal failure what happened with Bitcoin SV. I just can't believe that there are people out there that participate in it. But whatever, it's a thing. And the way that the court case went off with him, where he
Air Cages says Craig pie face, right.
yeah,
Gary Rich says trying to milk this
yeah,
crude
Craig,
long. It's
right.
very tight and thin.
No, that's not necessarily what we want to see. They're just being difficult today. Hmm. Yeah, but the whole thing where he was like ordered to pay them and everything was just like hilarious. Hmm. Well, I don't know, guys. It's I certainly got a valid signal there to go short, and it's already not working out. So I think that I'm just being jerked around. Okay, well, there was an okay downtick.
Air Cages says let's make our own Bitcoin. Let's call it Bitcoin Garlic 2.0.
Why not? Well, I mean, there would be a legitimate reason to make a garlic 2.0, right? Because of all of the fishiness that happened around the airdrop and everything else with garlic coin. I mean, that's the sad thing about garlic coin is that all it would take is one guy that really knows what they're doing in terms of development to take the reins of it, and it could really recover its value. But right now nobody cares, and until there's like a real crash in the cryptocurrency sphere, I'm not so sure that there's a really good incentive for anybody to do it. Okay, so now the offer is stacking and they're gonna try and push it down. Getting a lot of games here.
Air Cages says I care, Seth. I care.
Well, and it's like all it would take is like $1,000 worth of buying garlic coin, and it would probably pump up. But I'm not so sure that that would be enough to change the sentiment. That's why I think it needs to be like
Ace Trade says at Air Cages, well, that
an
is
app.
two of you, lol.
Burn. I think I might need to go to the hospital after that one. You see, that one is clippable. You guys should use the clip command for that. Right there. Come on, sell it. Sell it.
Air Cages says we need at least $2,000, methinks.
At least $2,000. Well, I mean, maybe you could put $1 million into it. That would definitely get it done. $1 million could maybe change sentiment, but
Gary Rich says a little jerking is good. Just make sure it's the correct hand and not dry. Ouch. Harlequin says at ACE Trades you need to learn how to count. Hail Garlicoin.
Man, so that reminds me of my wife, because she's taken medical leave now, and she's been getting a lot done during the day, but then in the evening she just relaxes, and she's been watching this show through Hulu, man, called through what the TLC or whatever, called "Sex Sent Me to the ER." And that sounds like something that would be on that show. Man, god damn it. And no strong offer?
Ace Trade says at
Really?
Harlequin all hail Garlicoin.
Strong stack 16.5. They are really jerking us around. I might have the direction right, but I just don't like being in when they're fiddling with it like that, you know? This is certainly the kind of
Ace
action
Trade
that could
says that
make it
Gary
turn
Rich's
lower
short
again,
is
though.
making me thirsty. Air Cages says we're the best illegal pump group in the crypto space and we're about to pump Garlicoin to the full moon, baby. Oh yeah, $2,000 baby woo.
No. We're not a pump and dump group, but maybe there's a pump and dump group out there that maybe someday, we can only hope. Listen, it's not illegal to say, hey, this is a really good pump and dump candidate, and then just hope that somebody else figures it out and does it. I'm not going to tell them to do it, so don't any of you do it. But eventually somebody's going to do it, right? In fact, maybe people have already tried. There have been a couple of fun little spikes in garlic coin. Strong stack at 16.5, but not at 16. Not yet. 5-year. Looks like it's in charge. Not showing any signs of what it's going to do. 30-year actually ticked up there. And the 2016.
Air Cages says don't pump Garlicoin.
No. Okay, so it pulled a little bit, but they didn't clear 16.5.
Gary Rich says at Ace stay thirsty cause it's getting frosty.
Okay, 5-year ticked down. But not the 30-year. There's a bit of an iceberg at 16. That's not necessarily good for us, is it?
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich once we get this close to the open, I don't like being in a trade where I can't lock in any profit.
Yeah.
Harlequin says lol, why does your ZF1 range chart look so strange?
Because of the rollover.
Gary Rich says Discord has a lot of pump signal crypto groups.
Oh yeah, like we get people come in almost every day spamming people, huh? It's pretty retarded. Okay, now no strong bidder offer either way at 16. This is ugh. I don't like it when so signs of balance at 16 and I'm short 15.5, like off worst spot. I am just not as good at selling as I am buying, guys. That's the problem. Fucking kidding me? Ugh. Okay. So I'm not quite sure what that was about. Some of this might just be because of the roll. Maybe it's after this one if we don't get a winner here. Or at least if we can't get it to come back to us, it might be good for us to just quit because this action just seems
Air
to be
Cages says shorted too early. Gonna get a stop and will continue to drop 20 ticks at open.
Right, probably. I mean, that's my worry right now is they seem to want me out. He's hunting me hardcore. Not a strong bid at 16.5 though. But at 16. I don't know.
Gary Rich says at Ace it's thin not due to holiday, just not enough news. Earnings are dead. Beige book will be interesting to read.
Yeah, but I mean, we got the stuff at the top of the hour, right? What I don't understand is why the treasuries reacted so strongly to that news, but the E-mini like barely cared. There was a little bit of a spike and then they retraced it. It was like, okay. I suppose it gives you a good spot to go long in the E-mini if You're so inclined. I don't know if it's really going to go before the open, though. Hmm. Let me click. And there, the 30-year going into 12. And finally, his stack at 16.5.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich, I want to act like I know what beige book is, but I don't.
It's one of the books full of economic numbers that the Federal Reserve puts out. Is that actually coming out? I didn't know that that was also today. Yeah, beige book at noon. You probably don't know what it is because you're never around when that goes on, right? You already got your winning your profits and are gone by the time that one comes. Hmm.
Gary Rich says I'm going to be very interested in reading and seeing others' opinions of Lagarde. It's fascinating to see how she's going to pull the next rabbit out of the hat.
You're talking about is that the European central bank president now? I forget what her name is. Iceberging at 16.5. Man, I should not be in this.
Air Cages says she bullish on XRP. Air Cages says cool beans. Greg Orlovsky says GM, and we still have the Chicago PMI that comes out 3 minutes early to members.
Yeah.
9:45 EST.
I'm kind of thinking here that this was a bad trade to take. Just maybe not necessarily from a signal and location perspective, but just from a tactical perspective. It might have been better to have said, well, that's finicky
Mason
action.
Chan says, are you holding through open? Greg Orlovsky says so far,
No.
Exxon has not pushed anything.
I'm
Greg
having,
Orlovsky says econ.
I having this issue where it's like, I don't want to be in this anymore,
Cages
but I
says
can't
just
see where I
reshort it.
want to get out, Just reshort it. I'm obviously not thinking right today. Mm-hmm. One thing that really, I think another problem that I'm seeing is I'm just noticing the cumulative delta down at the bottom. And the cumulative delta is just like really confusing looking. Cumulative delta doesn't seem to match up with this little slow squeeze up on me here. Okay, so there's an iceberg at 17.
Air Cages says should take the day off. Don't trade when you're not 100% emo face with medical mask. Ace Trades says impending home sales in 40 minutes.
That's a big iceberg at 17. And they traded that one fast.
Gary Rich says yes, new ECB la Presidente la Patron. Air Cages says never trade when you're sick, drunk, high, or all of the above.
Well, I don't think I'm any of those things. It's just my read seems to be off. It might not even be that my read is off. It's just I got into a location and when they're fiddling with it, same fiddling like they're screwing around with the book, and I got in on what appears to have been a trap, and it may as of yet be a reversal, but I got in too early, and that's just where it's like, when it's a sell, I'm just don't seem to be as good at selling for some reason.
Gary Rich says it's okay, Seth, we will hold your hand, stroke your hair, kiss your forehead, and hold you tight.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. The emotional support is great. I don't know. This is just where this whole thing is like, okay, I didn't like the way that they took that against me.
Mason
but
Chan
where
says
do I get out?
Ace Trade says that's a lot of forehead to kiss.
This is a problem that I'm having right now is if I'm like too early to a trade, what do I do? And as of late, it's just been trying to hold on. And maybe this one ends up working out, but if it does, I think we still need to sit back and think about what we might need to do to not sit through that much pain, because I 3 ticks of adverse excursion.
Air Cages says you might be at a disadvantage by live streaming your positions. Whales can watch your every move. Machine learning algos might be using you as a data point.
Well, there certainly have been some times where a trade might have not have worked out because I was streaming, but I think in the larger scheme of things, I'm way too small for any of them to care about. And the thing is if I'm trading in a place where somebody could actually do that to me, it's probably not a place I should be trading, right? Because that means that there's not actually a fundamental driver.
Going to tighten down my stop.
Right. I want to be trading in spots where even the big whales, there's enough of overextension and everything else that they have no choice but to go my way, Like, think about it. The biggest traders in the pits, everybody could see who they were and that they were what they were doing. Everybody could see it, and they were still effective traders. In fact, it could work to their advantage because people might follow them. So we need to try and trade like them. So still a little bit of still seems to be able to go back and forth at 16.5. It hasn't flipped the level 2 quite yet. Well, okay, now they did it. My little chart here
Air
in the 5 years.
Air Cages says whale might dislike you though. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, I don't know. What I don't understand is if I'm streaming and some big whale decided to screw with me in treasuries. Why
Gary
would they?
Rich says that Ace got stopped out for loss on crude. I hate to lose. I love my losses but personally hate them.
Why go against me? Did I offend somebody? I'm sorry. If I have, I try to be nice. I'm so grateful for you to have a group of people to come and talk to every day. I don't think there's anything special about my trading or anything that makes me deserving of having an audience.
Ace Trade says that Gary Rich sorry about crude. You should learn something about every loss.
You guys are really the star of this show. You know, I was watching. Have you guys seen this? There's this streamer on Twitch named Doctor Disrespect, who is kind of like the biggest streamer right now. And somebody gave him a donation. Somebody gave him a $3 donation. I don't know why.
Ace Trade says, Seth, we love you too, man.
Thank you, Ace. I don't know why you would give a $3 donation to Doctor Disrespect. That guy is a millionaire. Like, that guy makes millions of dollars streaming, and they send him a $3 donation. So somebody's like, hey, Doc, you didn't respond to my donation. And he says, because it was a $3 donation. I was like, oh, man. And he was doing it for joking. And afterwards, he did thank the person and read it and take it. So it was mostly for fun to say that. But I just couldn't imagine saying something like that. Like, somebody gave you a donation and you just brush it off.
Says you
My
offended the Garlic
gosh.
Coin community by continuously making fun of us.
No, I
Now
do make
it's
fun
payback
of the
time.
Garlic Coin.
We are gonna use all our 10 lots in the end to stop you out.
No, maybe it's the Chinese. I have said things about the Chinese that would maybe make
Air
them hate
Cages
me.
says, if I were a whale, this what I'd do. I'd make my own live stream titled Pushing Around Retail Traders for Fun.
Well, you know, so that's another funny thing is there was another YouTube channel that they said, well, we're bored. Let's play Run Retail. And so they were looking in our Discord and looking for where everybody seemed to be all think that it was going to go one way, and then looking for an opposite signal and trading against them. And he was claiming that like it was working really well and he was making a lot of money. But like I went back and looked at the chart and what people were saying and everything like that. And he was lying and he was probably losing money. And all of the guys in the room were making money that day. He was doing it against oil, not the treasuries, of course. But it was just really funny to me.
Ace Trade says Chinese men are responsible for all the endangered animals on Earth.
Prove me wrong. You might be right, actually, like in all seriousness. The whole thing with rhinos and elephants and the poaching of that is just ridiculous, right? And a lot of that comes from people in China trying to get strange medicines.
Greg Orlovsky says ES, long at 45.75.
Okay. Well, we got about a minute to the open.
Ace Trade says asterisk pissed, just testing your theory.
Oh, about if it's because we've made the Chinese mad. I miss when you guys were using the Chinese accent voice. That was freaking hilarious. Now one day when you guys were like, you know, I was in a bad trade and it was like the Chinese taunting me, but I think that we eventually came out profitable that day. That one was funny. I mean, it kind of looks like maybe they want to tick down eventually.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich, great. Thanks for leaving me hanging in a trade over opening.
Okay, here's the open. Boom, 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 boom. A little bit of selling.
Air Cages says 20 ticks drop incoming.
20 tick drop. I would hope not. I think they're right. They're right there at that extended range open. That
Gary Rich
should
says
be a
I'm
pretty
here
solid
for the humor,
spot for
fun,
them to bounce.
great insights, calls, and gifted minds as well.
Oh, thank you, Rich. You know, it really is like you guys, the chat has been, I mean, I streamed for a long time before the YouTube chat kind of picked up. And for a long time, it was like we were streaming on multiple platforms and most of the conversation happened in Discord. And then you guys started showing up out of nowhere in YouTube and were just so great. It was like, well, like, screw the rest of it. The YouTube chat is great. And it's so weird because when I watch other streamers, I've been trying to spend a lot of time watching other streamers to kind of get an idea of what it's like to be on the other side. And to learn more about streaming in general. And they're always saying, oh, YouTube chat sucks. I'm like, what? My YouTube chat, I'd take my YouTube chat over the Twitch stream chats any day.
Greg Orlovsky says stopped out 6 ticks loss.
Okay, so the E-minis, they're actually battling it out a little bit.
Says 2 points, leaving some on.
Or was that click? That was on the bid poll. The poll on a bid. So overall, on the open, the E-mini has been selling, and this has been a pattern
Gary
that we've
Rich
seen
says at
several
Ace
days in a row
anytime early
now.
Christmas present. Lol.
Is they try selling it on the open, and then eventually the buyers come back and just completely destroy them. It only takes a few ticks up to get the guys in the tenure to pull.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich thankful for you. ILL
go.
mention you at the table tomorrow. And Seth.
Thanks, guys. Well, I mean, since we're not going to be streaming tomorrow, obviously that would be the thing. I mean, I did not start this to stream and become like center of attention. I've been the center of attention before, and my memory from being the center of attention when I was like younger on the internet was kind of like, Seth, you do a lot of dumb things and everybody makes fun of you, and it's probably better in most situations to kind of, step back a little bit and let other people take the lead on a lot of things. Okay. Like one thing that happened was we were really involved in the Unreal Tournament community, and a lot of people were really mad about the opinions that we shared and stuff because it affected development, and they thought that it took development the wrong way. And I kind of regret pushing my opinion as much as I did. Not that it would have saved the project, but it was just kind of was like, you tried too hard, Seth. So when I did this, I only started doing this because the recording was really helping. And they did that Futures IO contest. I wanted the license, right? But you guys watched. So like, what are you going to do? You guys watched, and it's just like the most amazing thing. I didn't like go into it with the intention of becoming a streamer, but it just kind of turned into that. And
Eric Cages says, fun fact, Seth is also Satoshi Nakamoto.
I wish, right? And it's just been a really great experience. I would certainly not be as good of a trader as I am now, and I'm not saying that I'm a great trader, but I would probably be a really, really awful trader, and I'm probably just kind of like a sort of awful trader because of you guys. So I absolutely 100% appreciate it. And another thing is, I have to say, like, you really are like probably the most dedicated audience on the internet. Like the number of viewers to likes that we get. And by the way, if you haven't hit the like button today, we appreciate you hit that like button. The number of viewers to likes that we get and the engagement is insane. This channel, if it wasn't for the way that YouTube does streaming and the way that it messes with the algorithms,
Lucas says, good late morning. I stayed in bed. Did I miss good action, Seth?
You know what, Lucas? We did have a pretty good move down,
Ace
but I don't
Trade
know if you
says,
would have been able
Nakatomi
to take
Plaza,
advantage.
we will never forget.
I don't know if you would have been able to take advantage of it. It's kind of been a weird move. It was kind of like one of those trends that kind of just went and went and went and went, and there was no spot or indication about where it was going to stop, where you could take it. And now since then we've kind of had this reversal that's been really finicky. So
Ace Trade says at Lucas morning sleepyhead. Lucas says, I'm seeing that in your VP, crazy.
yeah.
Eric Cages says, we are all an elite whale group. We're watching you, Seth.
You know what? I really
Lucas
think
says, howdy, Ace.
I'm being serious here. Like this might sound a little funny, but I'm being serious here. I'm pretty sure Well, I'm not pretty sure, but I suspect that one of the Patreon subscribers is a big whale. Because when I make a comment in my notes that is a little bit more strong about where future price direction might happen, it's like right after I post the notes, there will be some huge move in Bitcoin in the direction that I indicated in the notes. It's
Gary Rich says Seth is our
you
lead
know
squirrel in a house of wild, crazy, great squirrels. Hail Seth, hail Seth.
squirrels. And where did he get squirrels from? Oh, Gary. Anyways, it messes with my head. Whenever I'm writing the notes, I'm like, well, I gotta be careful because I don't want to say something that makes the whale do something, but like I also do have to be honest about what my opinion on the price action is.
Ace Trade says at Lucas you missed a few points I called earlier and sweated out over the opening, still in short S&P. Air Cages says hail Seth, hail Seth.
Squirrels. So we need like maybe we'll make a meme later. I have a meme idea, okay?
Harlequin says I don't like you calling me a whale like that. I know I put up some fat, but next year I'm gonna go jogging and eat healthier.
Next year. Oh man. You know what, man? In fitness, if I could segue here, ask the whale to pump our darling garlic.
Air Cages says ask the whale to pump our darling Garlicoin.
Yeah,
Greg
please,
Orlovsky
please.
says ES short 3145 my playing myself LMAO.
I'm not going to advocate anybody to do something illegal with garlic coin.
Ace Trade says at Harlequin next year? What are you waiting for? Do it today. Lucas says at ACE Trades man, dang. Well you what, if you made money I'm happy.
I don't do anything illegal, okay? And I'm not going to advocate anybody do anything illegal, but if you are a part of a whale group, I would at least like to let you be aware of an opportunity. A coin that would be really easy to pump. It has some of the best, highest number of subscribers of any Reddit coin. It's a great community, great memes. You know what the great thing about the garlic coin, guys, is like it's so little money that like none of them care, and it's just fun. And anytime that there's a pump, there's always good memes and stuff. It's great. I really enjoy that coin. I wish I knew more about programming in cryptocurrency and had the time to actually, invest in that sort of a thing to build some fun stuff for them. But I'm sure eventually somebody will come in and do it.
Air Cages says what about Chainlink? Gary Rich says at Greg what would Don do in these situations?
Okay, so the E-mini has been in a very, very narrow range since the open. And they have kind of come back down. By the way, not a lot of retail orders in this market either. Like, look at the amount of volume that's gone through in the micro futures compared to the E-mini.
Greg Orlovsky says hi Gary, keep the trade and get something to eat.
Well, when you look at this, it really looks like that since the open, they've been trying to sell it. But like, look, that's like, they sold it and that's all they got out of it was that opening range. Yeah, when the buyers decide to come in, they will just destroy that very quickly.
Mason Chan says why do you have both MES and S ladders open? What are you looking at?
No particular reason, I guess. I mean, for me, I think I would rather watch the order flow on ES and put orders in MES.
Harlequin says at Gary Rich to quote the famous Sun Tzu, if in doubt, pump Garlicoin.
There you go. Sun Tzu said that, folks. Real quote. If I could set it up so that it was like that, I would probably would, but I also think it's useful to be able
Gary
to
Rich
to
says at
watch it.
Greg, I miss his writings and articles, learned a lot from others who read him.
Like if just to see if there's anything to it. I don't think that there actually is, but you know, we can
Air
watch it.
Cages says
So
Seth issued order, buy Garlicoin now.
execute order 69. Buy garlic coin now. Here's the news. I don't. This was bad.
Uzi Knesset says PMI in 3.
No, PMI now. Remember, PMI comes out early. So PMI
Ace
just
Trade
happened.
says it's going to get below 3,143 and drop.
It must have been fairly in line because they're not moving. What was the number that we were looking for? 47.2. 47.2. So is that why they pulled?
Air Cages says hail Prince Seth.
Hmm. This is kind of curious that they're just gonna have it pulled in through the whole thing. I mean, people should know what the number is by now.
Greg Orlovsky says scalp that impulse to even for the day.
I would think I should have taken it off at break even, shouldn't I? Okay.
Gary Rich says a quote. When you are ready, grab the pebble from my hand, young grasshopper, just kick in the sack, dropping the pebble and I'll pick it up, lol.
Hmm. Okay, 1 minute until the number becomes public. I'm not quite sure why they're doing it like this. I haven't seen this before. I remember the number we're looking for is 47.2. I don't like that I'm in this trade. I don't know what to do about it though. 30 seconds.
Greg Orlovsky says 3 minutes for subscribers, 9:45 for us.
Yep. Okay. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Still no real reaction. 46
Ace
spot
Trade says
3.
remember the old days when Seth had that little guy reading the news from Big Ben in London?
Hmm? Oh yeah, the British guy. That was great. When we had the 2 week subscription to Rand Squawk. Okay, so the news was negative, but the market doesn't seem to be reacting to it very much. E-mini doesn't seem to care. There's a lot of shorts in the E-mini still. Yeah, now it looks like that maybe the E-mini is going to make a run and break the upper end of the range. Go, 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 go. Oh, maybe not. A little bit of pushback there. We're still pretty thin in the treasuries. That's interesting. Okay, a couple of orders coming through in here in the December contract and not in the March contract. Hmm. Okay. Looks like 5 years still in charge. Hmm. Bid 09.5. That's way down there.
Gary Rich says YM turning down.
YM is turning down? The E-mini made a good run up there to 31, 45, 50, but then there was pushback. And they almost immediately gave up. Now they come back to balance, and maybe they're going to try it again. I don't know.
Greg Orlovsky says ES short 45.
Hmm. So we got more news in 10 minutes. It looks like the liquidity has returned in the 10-year. It's not quite what it was, but it's better.
Ace Trade says at Greg Orlovsky that's a good short. I'm still short from 46. Gary Rich says come on YM the border collie needs a new chew toy.
You got short from 46 before the like that was even before, maybe just shortly before the open. What was that tick on the ask?
Greg Orlovsky says trying to hold at ACE Trades. Ace Trade says at Gary Rich is there any animal that sheds more than a border collie?
Is there? I like border collies, but I don't know if I could get one. My dogs are getting old. I'm gonna have to get a new dog at some point. All they do is lay around all day. They'll jump up on the couch and lay down and like, oh, your life is so tough, dog.
Ace Trade says at Greg Orlovsky yes, I think if it gets below 43, it's going to drop like a Rocky fighter.
I don't know. Okay, that tick down
Greg
really
Orlovsky says at
affected.
Ace LMAO.
That drop down really affected the level 2 in the 10-year. Almost everything below us pulled. Well, not everything, but like there was more than
Ekareo
17
says
at
are you
14
going to
and
be
a half.
here tomorrow?
No, I will not. I will not be here tomorrow. On Friday, I'm not planning on streaming, but I'll probably be
Gary Rich
around.
says at Ace not that I know of. My BC sheds so much, she could supply bald people with wigs for life.
But my suggestion to you on Friday is sleep in. Okay, 10 minutes to news. 14 and a half stacked up a little bit.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich agreed. My poor vacuum. Uzi Knesset says I have 3 huskies so, if anyone needs wigs, lol.
Oh, really? Oh, no, wait. Yeah, I knew that Uzi had huskies. Does Ace have any pets? I have way too many pets, guys. I would like, If you know anybody in Utah that wants a rabbit, I don't want that rabbit. I never did. I just feel bad for the creature. Mostly I feel bad because it's a rabbit, but I also feel bad because it's in a cage and rabbits weren't meant to be in cages. Hmm.
Ace Trade says I know some Korean restaurants that would take that rabbit off your hands.
You do? Wait, where do you go in Salt Lake for Korean? I went to have you been you got to check this place out. It's called
Uzi Knesset says how big is the rabbit? Rabbit makes good snapping turtle food.
it's called UBK, I think. It's like Utah Korean barbecue. And it is like a real Korean barbecue, like where you have the pan in the middle and you cook it yourself. And it's a really nice restaurant too. Like they put a ton of money in it. And that place is so good, man. They bring out like this thin cut meat and it's been marinated and all the marinades in it are just so good. I've been looking for an excuse to go back there.
Ekareo says most Europeans eat rabbit also. What's the big deal?
It's like, I think it's like $25 a person, but it's so good. It's so good. Well, I think in the United States that people eat rabbits too, but you don't eat a rabbit that was your pet. I don't think that rabbit would taste very good, personally. That rabbit was bred to have nice fur and not for taste. This looks to me like
Greg Orlovsky says sorry for
action.
caps. Greg Orlovsky says stopped 3,144.
So
Ace Trade says at Ekareo I've eaten rabbits before.
remember how I said that selling is really hard because they'll just mess around with it forever and ever and ever and then move down for no reason? What did you think about that last tick? Was there a good reason for them to downtick there? Is there evidence in the order flow that there's a really strong sell coming and that they're going to just bust right through those lows or anything? It doesn't, because you got to remember that things are different when people are buying versus selling things, because there are people out there that buy to buy and have the asset.
I'm not crazy about, but it is very lean and white.
And so you tend to have it where people will buy and it will overextend when they're buying, and that's the end of that. But then when they're going on the downside, it turns into people are puke because they just can't handle the pressure anymore. So when they go on downtrends, they can kind of just seem like they come out of nowhere.
Ace Trade says to have all the energy people spend on asking why the market does something, it just does what it does.
I mean, you got to do something to keep yourself engaged, right?
Greg Orlovsky says ES. Seth's earlier comment may be correct, they may just run the ES up now. Gary Rich says just asking, have you noticed at Asian restaurants no stray cats or dogs within a certain radius? Laughing hard but makes you think now.
There's this place here in Utah over on like 7200 South or so that's like a real Chinese restaurant, and they've got like the liver, everything, and all that stuff. And I don't think that they have any dog on there, but I bet you that if you asked the chef, they might be able to do something for you. my dad, my father, he went on an LDS mission to Hong Kong, as I've mentioned before. And there was this one house that they would eat dinner at all the time. And the first time he went there, they had like 8 dogs. And he said that the dogs were so much fun and they would play with the dogs. And like that was like the...
Ace Trade says at Ekareo most of the wild rabbits around here have ticks that can pass on diseases, so most people stay away from them.
Yeah.
I have been known in the past to go with cousins and shoot the heck out of them.
Yeah. Oh man, Ace. So have you gone down to Delta and gone jackrabbit hunting? Is that what you're talking about? I had a missionary companion from Delta, and he said that on the weekend they would get everybody together, like a dozen people or so, and just get in a big circle and walk towards each other, and then club all of the rabbits that they caught in between them to death. Oh man. But I digress. In Hong Kong, he goes over to this house, and the nice thing about this house is there's all these dogs to play with. So he goes over and he's kind of starting to notice, this time there's only 7 dogs. Oh, this time there's only 6. And after going there a couple of times, and there's no more dogs. And so he asks, and my dad, he's like 19, so he's not really thinking. He's not really thinking about it. Hey, what happened to all your dogs? Elders, what do you think you've been eating this whole time? It's so awful, right? I can't confirm or deny denting the rabbit population of Delta and Nephi. Oh man. That means he has. That's what they do out there, man. That or you get in a pickup truck with a shotgun and see how many you can kill. And my companion said that when you shoot a rabbit with a shotgun, it just...
Ekareo says never heard that rabbits get ticks. People around here go rabbit hunting and never heard anyone saying that a rabbit that they hunted had ticks. Michael XC says, did PMI have any effect?
No. So the PMI was 46.3 versus an expected 47.2. There was a little bit of buying when it came out. But ultimately, the E-mini shrugged it off, and it appears at the moment that the markets are going off of the assumption that the E-mini is going to do what it's done every other day for the past, week and a half, where they just
Trade
buy.
says at Ekareo we have these long-legged jackrabbits.
Yeah. That's the thing you got to understand, Ekarejo, is the rabbits that we have around here are like desert jackrabbits. These are ugly mothers. They are just their ears have holes in them, and they got ticks, and their fur is gross and disgusting and matted. These aren't like, little bunnies, fluffy tails. These are gross rabbits. And they just out there in the brush, they just breed like crazy. And they just breed like crazy. Okay, we got about a minute to the news. I have enough profit baked into this. I think I can hold it. I'm going to be watching that personal income number to see if it is greater or less than spot 3. 30 seconds. Pulling. I feel nervous.
Ekareo says but their skin is so hard, how is it that a tick is going to get through?
I don't know, man. I think there's just a lot of
Ace
ticks
Trade
out
says
there.
the black-tailed jackrabbit plays host to many ectoparasites including fleas, ticks, lice, and mites,
Okay.
and many endoparasites including trematodes, cestodes, nematodes, and botfly cuterebra larvae.
That was weird with float. So the initial move was down, but then there was a strong flush of volume pushing up a little bit.
Ace
For
Trade
PCE
says
was
diseases
spot
affecting the
1.
black-tailed jackrabbit in the West are tularemia, equine encephalitis, brucellosis, Q fever, and Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Personal spending was in line at spot 3. Personal income was less than expected at
Ace
0.
Trade says ticks are vectors for tularemia, and infected ticks have been found on jackrabbits in the West. Jackrabbits infected with tularemia die very quickly. 3. Ace Trade says the high prevalence of disease and parasites in wild jackrabbits affects human predation. Gary Rich says stopped out on YM. Should have stayed in bed and played with myself, better outcome.
I think that one was
Ace
worth
Trade says
holding.
many hunters will not collect the jackrabbits they shoot, and those who do are well advised to wear gloves while handling carcasses and to cook the meat thoroughly to avoid contracting tularemia.
Yeah.
Ace Trade says most hunting of jackrabbits is done for pest control or sport. 8. Ekareo says it looks like I'm done with trading today, nothing exciting.
He let me out. Thank you, sir.
Ace Trades says and that is all I know about shrimp. Ekareo says I just don't trust the Amini Todia.
Okay. That personal income number is the important one here in my mind. Personal income 0 versus an expected spot 3. Yeah, look at that.
Ace Trades says here we go, drop baby.
And the E-mini is not happy about it either. That's interesting. Oh, come on, go. Don't be like that. So are we going to retrace this whole move down in the treasuries? Back up to the highs of this, like up to this area up here at 23? That is like a real possibility at this moment, I think. Although I'm seeing flows both ways, so we shouldn't get too excited yet.
Greg Orlovsky says ES sold 3,144. Michael XC says yeah, this is all very cheerful.
So I would be careful in the E-mini because with personal incomes being at 0 versus an expected spot 3, that is once again indications that we're not getting inflation, which means that the Federal Reserve will remain easy. But the equity markets are totally cool with, interest rates remaining easy, right? So you could see a situation where the treasuries make a strong move up and equities still go. Although we have definitely seen throughout the session so far today, mostly selling in the E-mini, and they did make a pretty strong impulse. So it's one impulse. Let's never read too much into one impulse in the E-mini, but they did have a strong impulse, and they might break the low here. But I would just be the situation for the fundamentals in the E-mini is a little fuzzy, right? It's probably a better trade to be long the treasuries, in my opinion. On the other hand, the treasuries may just never go or flip back down on us because they've just been super difficult today. Sure, why not? I mean, the E-mini's still like in the middle. They're still in the middle there. Well, at least I finally caught the right side of a zipper, man. That's it. Come on. Snack a little more there, please. 30-year. Okay. 17 on offer. They're not hitting it.
Gary Rich says I watch
go.
Mink Man on YouTube. His minks murk rats.
Huh. Wait, isn't mink like a type of ferret?
Uzi Knesset says that guy's channel is cool.
It just reminds me of teasing my
Uzi
wife
Knesset
about.
says uses minks to hunt rats on farms.
I tease my wife about taxidermying our animals. So when you get the rabbit, why wouldn't you get a lucky rabbit's foot out of it? That's what you're supposed to do, aren't you? Don't you want to have a way to remember a pet that you loved? She thinks it's
Michael
so
XC
creepy.
says cheerful comment was about rabbits, just was delayed.
Oh, it was. I think it's okay. I was looking at the robot. Well, they did take 17.5 bid there, but I see some profit taking. I don't know. I mean, their break of 17 here is significant. I'm surprised that they're not trying to skip across to 20 really quickly. But I suppose that they're waiting to see if the E-mini decides to break the bottom of the range. You see it right there, like it's thinking about it, but nobody goes for it. They are holding a bid at 14 in the 30-year now, though. So this might actually be better position than it shows in the 10-year. I'm going to clear this stuff on the upside. I don't think any of that matters. Hmm. It's right on the edge. So definitely some profit taking at 17.5 on the edge of the profile. Not sure what it's going to take to get them to push it beyond. It sure looks like a good setup for long, though. Can you believe I got out at 15.5 and break even on that thing? Well, it would have been a lot better if I had flipped there, but I'm slow apparently. Is the chat okay here? Oh, yeah, no, I think it's okay. I think there might be 3 to 5 sitting here at 17.5. I wouldn't be surprised. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, 5-year ticked down there. E-mini down again. They're going to do it this time? Hmm. There's a big iceberg in the 5 year at 0.005 as well. Chinese spokesperson, U.S. ambassador to Germany, said there's no moral equivalence between China and U.S. Some U.S. politicians or officials always jump on stage with a clumsy show to discredit China, which only exposes their malicious calculations and political agenda, says Li Hanshao. Yeah, are you effing kidding me? You guys are committing effing genocide and you're trying to draw a moral equivalence with it? Give me a break. Give me a break. Genocide, folks. You hear the stuff that's coming out of China? Pulling people into camps, killing them, destroying their culture, raping their women. It's disgusting. Every bit as evil, if not more so, than what happened in Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia. Is disgusting. And seeing these propaganda guys trying to say moral equivalences is just laughable. You want people to take you seriously on the world stage, China? Then stop committing genocide, you know? Sorry. I get a little fired up about genocide, I guess. Also, I would really like them to just, buy it up above 17.5. That would make me happy. We don't have anything else today, do we? Crude oil beige book. Okay. Well, I don't know. That's not good. That one shouldn't happen. But the Yemeni recovered there. Okay, well, there was a gap there at 31.75 in the 5 year that they would have wanted to close. Sure. Okay.
Michael XC says, well, don't go to Turkey then.
Don't go to Turkey then. Yeah. That situation is kind of sucky too, isn't it? That whole thing with Lindsey Graham blocking the resolution and everything was pretty like, what? But politics gonna politic, I guess. 5 year, not okay. There we go. Was like, well, they're not holding a bid as zeros in the 5 year, but then all of a sudden they shoved it up with a click. There's actually a big poll on the ask there. Why is it giving me still the old instrument? It must be going off of this chart here. Yeah. But that means there's still big orders going off in the December contract. John noting that there was a pullback extension measured move after 50% retracement. Basically saying that they reached the upside. They reached what you would give as like a safe target on the upside, and there's not necessarily, uh, other than the news and the fact that people aren't making money, not really reason beyond that. Kind of seeing a little bit of flow both ways in the 5 year now. Mm, it just got like super slow. I can see that the E-mini is trying to build the bid here down here at the bottom.
IQ says volume is higher in DAC than March contracts ZB.
Is it? I'm certainly seeing big orders going off over there. Because my order tapes are all still off on the December contract. This stuff, my DOMs and all this stuff are on March, but the stuff behind my face that you can't see, the order tapes are all okay. Down tick. Not a strong offer, but they did take it. Hmm. I don't know. I'm not sure I understand what's going on in the equities either. They're selling, but it's not busting the bottom of the range. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm noticing a little bit of push and pull going on. Like the knob spread has gone down. They've flattened. What was that? Oh, you know what? I think I was just seeing Twitter out of the corner of my eye. Okay. They took it, but they're like not sure if they're gonna hold it. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of orders shuffling around though. My back has not been staying in place lately, folks. Can see like they're kind of flipping it there between 16 and 16 half on the level 2. But it's just like really quiet. It's eerily quiet.
Winstanza Mom says whales, grasshoppers, border collies, rabbits, cats, dogs, jackrabbits. Speculator Seth, your zoo needs ferrets. Deploying ferrets now. Hello, gentlemen of day trading.
Good morning, Wayne. Yeah, I don't think I would be able to handle ferrets. Just the smell. The smell of the rabbit really bothers me. They smell. My wife was like, "No, rabbits don't have a smell. They have a smell, folks. Especially their feces smells like ammonia. Ugh."
Ace Trade says at Winstanza Mom, finally the strong sun streaming through your late morning window woke you up. Welcome, we missed you. Popularity Matters says most pets stink.
Yeah, most pets stink. There is no sun coming through that window. I actually have the window open today, and it's just like really dark and cloud covered out there.
Ace
I don't
Trade
think it's
says that
snowing,
popularity
but
matters not with enough salt.
not with enough salt. You really want to eat my rabbit, don't you? Treasury's kind of
Popularity
looking
Matters
mixed
says
up.
I like dogs and cats, but I will never own one. I would rather just play with other PPLS pets. Winstanza Mom says I will say that my raw-fed ferrets smell like grape Kool-Aid, but my family will say differently. Good morning, Ace Trades freeze the rabbits for 2 weeks. That's how we teach raw feeding.
Ugh.
Gary Rich says Seth, have you considered capturing an entire session on video? When you review your trades you can replay the session and see how you did. I'm gonna do it for 2020 with a separate system.
What do you mean? Isn't that what we're doing? I don't. When I end it, that's the end. I don't trade outside of when I'm streaming. So I definitely do from time to time go back and look at it, and I'll be like, "What are you doing? Buy it there. That's a great iceberg to buy. Just do it." And then, yeah, it's hard watching past self. When I'm editing, my wife can't stand watching me edit because I talk to myself. I'll be like, "Hey Seth, you know what? That was a really
says
good
the title
take."
for today's video should feature something about animals.
Something about animals. Could be.
Ace Trade says, are you buying raw rabbit meat? Who the heck sells it?
I don't know. I'm sure you could get it somewhere here in Utah. Anyways, I'll be like, "Hey Seth, that was a good take. You know what? You're making a good point there, Seth." Or when I'm watching myself trade, it's like, "Seth, what are you doing?" Wait, because in my mind, it's not me anymore. It's a different person they're in the past. But my wife thinks it's really, really weird to do that. But I definitely do. I mean, the whole point of doing this is so that I can go back and watch it. and I put it up because I was like, other people might benefit from having the order flow because they might not have live data or um, they're getting started, and so they would like more stuff to practice on, and people definitely use it like that. But
Winstanza Mom says 21 watching now. Please hit like. Speculator Seth tries to
thank
get
you.
to a certain number of likes each day. Ace, we shop at ethnic markets especially for organs. Sometimes I supplement with FDR freeze dry.
Hmm. Well, because today's the day before Thanksgiving, I kind of expected we might not have as many viewers. We got about 6 likes, so I wouldn't expect it to be like 15 like yesterday. Yesterday was great, by the way, though, guys. And maybe next week we can try and shoot for 20. But okay, well, they didn't stack big that time, but still.
Mason Chan says, do you trade full time as a living, Seth?
No, I don't. And to be honest, I don't ever intend on it being my sole living. I would like to be able to quit my day job, but I'm not so sure that I would be comfortable just having day trading as my sole source of income.
Popularity Matters says I take stills of my setups and keep a file in OneNote with instructions, best practices, context.
Yeah. I keep notes and stuff, but I'm ADHD, so like I'll set up a couple of notes and then forget about it.
Winstanza Mom says, is everyone ready for dinner tomorrow and maybe a football game? Then a nap followed by leftovers? Favorite recipe you look forward to having? Prob not mayo oriented, lol. Gary Rich says I trade an entire session but when I replay it, I can see what happened versus just seeing my stats. A replay of it makes a difference when I review.
Well, it's kind of weird because when you want the thing that you'll find when you watch on replay is that there's two ways of looking at almost every order flow move, and depending on which way you're biased, it's going to affect your read. Because you could see like a strong moves and if it's against your position, you might just say, well, they're trying to get people to sell so that they can get filled and push it higher, and that absolutely happens all the time. But when then you know exactly what to look for, and it's like so obvious in retrospect, right? But I think that it's more useful on the replay to be like, well, okay, it turned there, and I don't know why. Did I miss something? And then you see, oh, I wasn't paying attention, but there was a tick there that was really indicative that it was going to turn.
Ace Trade says at Winstanza Mom we are doing 2 Thanksgivings, so not really excited about anything, now that I think about it. Lol.
The women have the whole Thanksgiving thing taken care of, and I don't know what's happening other than that we're going to my mom's house. Oh, and then we'll get the kids back. The kids have been gone through the beginning of this week so that we could have them on Thanksgiving. Iceberg at 31.5 in the 5-year.
Ace Trade says I am making a couple of pies today, apple and apple. Winstanza Mom says PM that is a very good idea. I need visuals and organization. I would love to cover my walls with whiteboards et al, but I settle for organizers and doodles.
So here's a question.
Winstanza Mom says 2 Thanksgivings, that is a lot of pie.
What kind of apple do you use in your apple pie? What breed? What do we call them? My mom always uses Macintosh apples. And why are you hitting into 31.25? Stop. Because the E-mini is back into the center of its range. I thought this original trade was really good, and now it's just... How long has it been? Is it time for me to bail? It's about time for me to bail. By the way, how bad is it outside? Well, it's not too bad right now. But it's supposed to snow later
Winstan's
today,
mom
right?
says Fuji apples are the only apples my son will eat. I have not tried to bake them in a pie.
I would really like to do like an experiment, like
Ace Trade says I'll use whatever is in the store, but I like Crispin, Mutsu, Fuji Golden Delicious Red Rome Jonah Gold.
mm,
Gary Rich says I'm in charge of snacks, gonna go to the bakery, buy a nice platter and display it. Appears I
hmm.
worked hard but not,
So now the E-mini is pushing the top end of the range and the bulls are coming out. And the treasuries are actually pushing up again.
Winstan's mom says Ace Trades do you like ice cream, whipped cream or Swiss cheese with your apple pie? My grandfather was about the Swiss.
Swiss cheese with your apple pie? I have never heard of that one before. I'll eat Swiss cheese with my apples, but with your apple pie, that sounds weird. Hmm. The move here to the other side here was quick, but then once again, it's like they don't. Okay. Well, that was good, and they actually had a pretty good stack on the
Ace
pick
Trade
too.
said at Winstan's mom I will eat all of those with any pie. I always say I only like 2 kinds of pie, hot and cold.
I love it. I love it. Hmm. I mean, that was a pretty good uptick, but it didn't hold. And they're hitting into 31.5 again in the 5-year. Really? Ugh. All the games, all the games. I wonder if which one is reacting to which.
Ace Trade says okay, I've only got one more contract on, still wishing for a drop. Gary Rich says I do enjoy a sour cream lime pie, but would get to be 600 pounds man without control. Winstan's mom says lol I like pie also. Do you know the scene in the movie, Michael, where Andie MacDowell sings her pie song?
Wasn't familiar. The movie Michael. What is the movie Michael about? Is that about an angel? Is that about Michael Jackson?
Ace Trade says I'll have to look that up, thanks YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we had the oil inventories. Forgot about that. It was 1572K versus 1379K previous. So minus 878 from the estimate.
Winstan's mom says my grandmother made angel pie. The crust is meringue. The filling has chocolate and a layer of sponge something and it's wonderful. I have not had that in years. No, the Archangel Michael.
I really like, well, I mean, for pies, it's usually apples, but we always make chocolate torte. Like a layer of chocolate cake, a layer of chocolate pudding, a layer of whipped cream.
Gary Rich says doesn't it seem our trading is sorta like the movie Groundhog Day?
Sometimes. Certainly does when I watch it on replay. And I'm going through it again and I know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich yes. Are you still in?
I'm kind of still sitting here thinking about just how incredibly stubborn and difficult this market has been today.
Winstan's mom says John Travolta, Bill Hurt, Gene Stapleton, Andie MacDowell Hurt as a reporter for a rag mag who goes out to rural America to cover an angel and meets Michael. Great dance scene, of course.
Okay, maybe I have seen that movie before then. And he sleeps standing up and everything. Yeah, I remember that movie. So the thing that's weird about this action is okay, so it's a holiday. I get that. Maybe there's a reason for people to skip out early. But we had significant news 30 minutes ago and the market hasn't really played it out
yet.
yet.
A good setup or signal, too thin.
I feel like that the market hasn't completely played out the move that it should yet. I still kind of feel like
Ace Trade says that Gary Rich agreed.
I still feel that we should move to 22. Because
Popularity
there's no
Matters says
inflation.
trading never seems like the movie Groundhog Day to me. My
Hmm.
biggest trader's dilemma is that context always change from moment to moment and day to day, making my edge far more variable.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing that we have the hardest when you're trading order flow. I think that's the hardest thing, right? Is there's two ways of reading the flow usually. I mean, when it's trending, then sure, there's only one way of looking at it, but otherwise, you don't really know which side is bigger, and you're using some very contextual clues to determine that. And if you have a bias that says that they're going to buy this up today and you end up being wrong, then your read on the order flow is just completely wrong. Um, and so and also if you think that it's going to trend versus being range bound. And so you kind of got these little questions that you kind of have to answer in order to read the flow that, are easy to get wrong. And so it's all about figuring out what kind of day it's actually going to be. I can think back many times here on this stream when it was a holiday and I said, well, because it's a holiday, I'm not so sure that they're really going to do anything significant. And then they ended up having a huge trend. That's happened like 2 or 3 holidays. Like I think that happened last Memorial Day, didn't it? And I certainly saw that happen around what else? Easter. I think they did that. But now today, so far, it's been incredibly slow. I don't feel like that they finished the move based off of the news that we got, but here
Popularity
we
Matters
are.
says I agree. That is the toughest thing. That is why I'm compiling a list of best practices and market conditions where the action is right for the particular idea I am working.
Well, and so that's kind of thing number 2, and this is something that I think is more difficult just for me and probably isn't a problem for everybody, but there's so many different things to remember, There's so many different things that you want to keep in mind and keep track of.
Ace Trade says Seth, I think that is what I'm sticking around for, a long deep down trend.
Well, I don't know if the E-mini is actually going to fall. I just feel like that the treasuries should continue to move up. I can see scenarios where the E-mini goes down and treasuries go up, and the treasuries go up and the E-mini goes up. But I also see scenarios where it just sits here and does nothing. No, but it's so like yesterday. Okay, I had a pretty good setup and read and everything, but I forgot that it was rollover, and I probably could have taken 2 tick winners there a couple of times and had an okay day. But because I didn't factor that into my analysis, and I should know, but it's just like you forget because it doesn't happen every day. And there's just so many different things that you have to look at. It's hard to remember them
Winstanzamom
all.
says The Big Short, Michael Lewis speaking of Groundhog Day and a turkey.
I want to watch. So speaking of movies, because I've got like a list of trading movies, but they're never on streaming services. I would really like to see Trading Places. Is that the name of the movie with Eddie Murphy? And they're on the trading floor. I want to watch that. That looks like a fun movie. They're gonna. So can you see here, for instance, last time that we were up here around 17.5, the E-mini was selling. Now we're back up here, and the E-mini is kind of towards the top end of the range. I am starting to see a change in the profile. The profile is not completely symmetrical anymore, is it? Okay. So it looks like they have cleared the icebergs, but now they've got the robots to contend with that 17.5. Oh man. Hmm. Then they stack a little bit more on there. They actually did trade some at 18 that time, so like it was a new high. That's a funny thing. And of course, they take 17. Well, 17's fighting back a little bit too. How much? Oh, 25, just as much as there was on the at the 17 half, actually. More now, in fact. So I'm gonna pull up my little chart here. It's not as much as there was the distribution down at the bottom, though. If they're able to make 6 to 17 half go bid again, though, that could really help them push it up again. Oh, the E-mini is selling again now. That's curious. It's hard. Like I see the setup for a volatility breakout, but it's hard to see anything super crazy happening at this point, right? I'm kind of wondering if people have already. Well, no, I mean, they were still seeing volume, though, aren't we? You would think that most of the traders would have gone home, but we're still seeing volume. What do you think's going on here, guys? Well, the 5-year has given me something now. Could be. I'm not seeing icebergs in here causing it either, which is kind of interesting. So this could be something that could potentially push us through. The E-mini is starting to look really negative, doesn't it? Like on all of the other days, you'd seen selling, and then eventually it doesn't get very far and the buyers come out and just destroy them. But today, for the first hour and a half or so in the E-mini, it's just been sell, 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 sell. In this range, of course. Not breaking out of the range, but still selling the whole way. Investigating the mystery of weak wage growth. Zero hedges on the case. Wall Street Journal proposes the reluctance to switch jobs explains wages, but the Atlanta Fed macro blog says no. Well, I've been more reluctant to switch jobs as of late. Is that what the problem here is, guys? Seth needs to switch jobs and then maybe wage growth can increase. I hear Twitch is hiring. That's just kind of like really flaky back and forth here. Alligator says, in my opinion, they will park the boat in the center at the view app. It's not very far. So the sellers won that battle. And they clicked it down at 16.5 as well. And the E-mini pushing the highs. Five-year ticking around for no reason. It's showing that signal that we saw did end up being a reversal. Still indicates that we're moving up. I'm just looking outside. It's not snowing, but it doesn't look nice, so I think I will stay home. I suppose that we might be able to hold this until the London close. Not what I want to see. Okay, cool. Everybody else is working from home. Damn it. I don't think I'm trading this right. I really should have gotten out when they started at iceberging at 17 and 17 half. I mean, I didn't think too much of it because it was kind of been slow anyways, but I mean, that was distribution. Could have gotten out. Could have gotten out. Now they're doing all this funny business at 16 and 15 half. They may just end up rotating around this 16 for the rest of the day for all we know. Yeah. By the way, guys, because I do get a lot of Discord messages, and I love to answer Discord messages, but I think it'd be more beneficial for you just up and ask the question. You don't need to introduce or anything. Just your first message, just ask, and then I can get to it. Because otherwise, you might end up waiting on me for a little bit, and you know what I mean. So it'd be faster if you just ask the questions. Damn, well. And this is, they took that down to 15 right now. And look, is anything fighting them? No. I am on the losing side here, folks. It did go +3 at one point, didn't it? No. Nope, I only ever got 2. Hmm. This has gone and done this many times too, hasn't it? Yeah. Hmm. A lot of shuffling there. E-mini finally breaking into those highs. Well, sorry for those of you guys that were waiting for an E-mini to just, get taken out. Oh, by the way, you guys have been talking, and I forgot that the thing stops talking. We lived in a golf and polo club community. I pictured the children playing tennis, riding, golfing, and doing the country club dance. I knew they would be prodigies. Then computers arrived. Finally out, yeah. But were you long that whole time? I forget if you were long or short. I suspect, though, that you were short and you got taken out there, huh? Well, I'm seeing this is like a spot where like they should turn around again in the treasuries, and I suspect that this time they will not. Well, there did take 31 there. So people seem to be trying. Hmm. Yeah. Well, taking -4 on this really hurts. Hmm. Now they're putting pressure on it at 15. Hmm. It's kind of throttling here on the bid. That's kind of weird. I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. Okay. Well, are they going to break the low now? I definitely held that one on way too long. I don't know. No way to for me to know what it was going to do, to be honest. I think I was just happened to be in a position. Well, I would be allowed to take another one, but the way that it's ticking, I don't think that that's wise. So, kind of sucks. Unless something crazy happens. So we'll keep going for another 30 minutes and watch it because I do want to see if they break this low. But I need to take a break here. So I'll step away from Okay, well, so they went down and they turned for no reason, it seems. I don't see enough of anything still. Still. He says going to take off as well unless someone wants another signal in the S&P. We could maybe buy the S&P. You think that they could take out that overnight high? Happy Thanksgiving. Wishing your family well. I will see you all on Friday. Bye, Gary Rich. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving and also bye, speculators. Thank you very much, Win. I'm still bummed, man. Well, I mean, there's that right there. But this, I don't know. Probably not. Can you change the name of this to Personal Income Disappoints and Markets Don't Care? That's not the first time that that's happened, right? Let's see here. Yeah. Happened in March, too. There we go. We can get rid of Treasury futures in here and just say live day trading. Well, I'm going to try and stay engaged here for the last 20 minutes of this. I personally don't think that there's a real reason for the markets to move. Although, man, it's been buying the whole way. Look at the cumulative delta. It's buying the whole way. Isn't that interesting? He's just screaming, buy me, Seth, buy me at 15. You know, cumulative delta definitely came out in the 5-year, but in the 10-year, it just looks like they just want to buy it. But you know what? When they're not agreeing like that, that's kind of like a warning that maybe we shouldn't be involved in it. I'm getting enough. I could potentially take a long here, though. Let's switch it over to a. We could do a sim if we want. That might make me feel a little less nervous about it. There's still little small orders hitting it. That's interesting. The E-mini did have a good move up there, but they kind of like they did it, and now it's just kind of going quiet again. Might have even overextended as they hit the high, too. That's interesting. It's just lots of little orders now. What? There's still a lot of volume going through. That's surprising. Not what I expected to see there at 15.5. Oh, it's not Gary. Enjoy the time off. Please be careful deep frying the turkey in oil. Don't want to read those stories because they always happen. Yeah, right. That's why I'm not a fan of that deep frying. I didn't even think it tastes that good. There's an iceberg in the 5-year. And the 5-year actually ticks down. Hmm. Look at the 5-year. And iceberging at 15 as well? Well, they want me to just sell it down here so that they can throw it back in my face. Hmm. Kind of come back into that. Seller seems really insistent. And given that we have so much volume, cumulative delta long, although I am getting some signs that they should be reversing here. So, I don't know. I think there's a trade here, but the setup doesn't really make sense to me. Like, I think the setup is long, but did I lose two on that one? No, I lost one. Okay. You mean he looks like it might turn down again? Hmm. Okay. Nope. Hmm. Might be reading that wrong. Mini seems to be selling again. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I think they've run out of people to trade. Like, I still see the big guys doing stuff, but like, there's no orders going through. Like, look, he stacked that to 3,500 now at 14 half. And it's 2,500 at 15. And a big rush of volume in there. Really? Really? Hmm. I look at it in the 30-year, it looks like it should turn back up. The 30-year is saying it should turn back up. Is that a 500 lot at 11? Okay. I cleared 500 lot at 11 and then nothing at 10. It would certainly help if ES decided to sell hard here. Nope. Hmm. Nope. Um, yeah, so the 5-year has kind of been saying that they're going to tick up at 30 and a quarter, and then it just ticked down. There's a decent amount absorbing it at 14 half on the buy side, and there is a stack at 14, but yeah, that's kind of funny. It's just because it's just being like as difficult as possible about doing anything. See, and it looks like that orders in the 5 year are afraid to buy into it at 30 and a quarter. I can see the 30 year potentially about to tick up, though, maybe. Okay. I just continue to find myself on the wrong side of this thing, man. There was actually quite a bit of selling there in the December contract. Hmm. Oh, because the 5 year did take a new low there. Curious if 14 couldn't hold, though. So many contracts trading here, too. Like, what the hell am I doing? Hmm. It's thinning out. Okay. London closed, perhaps? There's not other news, is there? There's not. This still is saying to me that they're going to buy it up here. Well, I guess that what could have been an exit, huh? That happens from time to time. Still thin. That's fucking weird. For real? This is weird. I was like thinking, I should buy 15. And then that showed up. Is there news? I'll hold up Twitter. This is weird. It did tick up. Seven-year high yield. Was there an auction today? Is that what the deal was? Hmm. I always wonder, where do all those orders come from, that is selling. Who is it so anxious to hit into a 5K iceberg at 15.5? What did they know that I don't know? Or are they robots and they just getting tricked? Let's see here. Bid to cover ratio 2.44 versus the previous 2.46. And a higher rate, of course. Hmm. Something start hitting into 31 and the 5-year maybe? Okay. Well, there's this big order at 12. You're gonna have this area up here again at like 17, 17 and a half, right? And now there's a big one showing up at 16 and a half. How's that? Hmm. That was a pretty big iceberg that they absorbed down there at 15 and a half, though, isn't it? Okay. And now iceberging at 16. John heading out. Iceberging at 16 and a half, but they pushed through that one. Still kind of getting indications of trend on the upticks. Okay, so some fighting at 17. Still going down to the wire. Yeah, well, what happened was, I was just kind of fooling around. And then everything pulled, and then there was a stack here, and I'm like, well, there was something else that I was not aware of. It appears that it was a 7-year auction. So we got 7-year auction. Good up. We've had some pretty good uptrends so far. I'm not really getting any sign so far than the 5-year at least that they're going to try and flip it really hard, but there is pushback at 17, so maybe there's only 2 in that. Okay. Just seeing a lot of bidding in the December contract. Even it looks like it's going up again. The way that they're iceberging here and everything makes me think that maybe they will try and break through here again. It was at 17.5 before. Gets cut. This gets tough this late in the day. Shifts like pulling teeth. Yeah, well, it's been like that all day, though, really. I mean, this little move up from the bottom was probably the best move that we had all day. Okay, now they're stacking some at 17. A lot of these kinds of stacks have been tricks. Okay. There is a buying robot out there. Okay, that time he didn't hit into it. So quite a bit of distribution up here in the 16.5, 17 area again still. Maybe I should just take my one and be happy with it. I don't know, man. It really is like, why is it so hard to get even a tick? It can certainly go against me. Why is it so hard to get it to go with me, huh? I guess in reality, that first trade didn't really go anywhere. The thing that sucks is that I was long at like 15 and down in here, and then the thing happened, and then it moved up. Uh, I don't know. Well, it's 9:43. I gotta stop now because I gotta get on the call. So we'll just close this out and break even. I will see you guys next Monday. Learned a while ago that my results began plummeting after 10:30 and only get worse after 11. Yeah, no, that's totally true for me. And at 10 o'clock, it's like hard stop for me as well. So, all right, I'll catch you guys later. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.